Welcome to episode 44 of Inside Jogging Podcast. Another big show coming at you as we discuss the world indoor champs from Serbia with news of a fantastic bronze medal in the 3,000 metres for Marc Scott. We've also got an interview with the second fastest British female marathon ever in Jess Piasecki as she builds into the world champs in Oregon. Plus, we've got all the other usual training talk and segments. In a week that saw Wrexham move one step closer to being named UK City of Culture after making the final shortlist of 4, I'm joined by a man who I'm sure is the very reason why Wrexham is being considered for the award. How's holiday life, Matt Glass?
Is that honestly true?
It is.
Wow.
You go away and they announce the big thing.
When's the final decision?
It must be pretty soon. I mean, I wouldn't read too much into it because I also saw Bradford was considered in the final 4, and nothing against Bradford, but wouldn't be my
Bradford's
my
a beautiful place. I'm all good, mate. I think it's just stopped raining and the sun is out now. We've had a bit of a wet one today, but all's good in Portugal. We'll come back tomorrow.
There we go. So let me welcome other co-host, 217 marathon man, YouTube sensation after racking up over 10k views for his 20-mile training video. Welcome to the show, Josh Lunn.
How we doing?
Not too bad, mate. How's things in Cardiff?
Yeah, not too bad. Do you know what? The weather's been pretty good. I actually ran for the first time yesterday in a t-shirt and shorts since probably London Marathon.
I think I did that Monday.
Oh, very good.
Well, I did wear a t-shirt and shorts on Monday, but I only took two t-shirts with me. I thought I had a long sleeve, so I actually doubled up with two t-shirts, but took one off halfway through.
Interesting combo.
Yeah. So after saying last week that there was no chance that you two would out mileage me, I went and caught COVID. Well, I caught it the day before because we recorded on Monday evening. So as we were recording, karma hit me, and probably about an hour after we finished talking, I started feeling rough. So yeah, you both probably got me in terms of mileage this week. Well, actually, I know in fact you both do have me in terms of mileage. So we'll start with the man with the most miles for the week out in Portugal. Matt, do you want to talk us through your week?
Have I done the most miles this week?
You have.
That's impressive.
It is.
I'm going to be trying to be even more professional this week because I don't want to be named the amateur hour by another podcast somewhere in Australia. So I'm going to be really professional with my approach today.
We're all going to be very professional
throughout the whole thing. So if you're listening to this on a run, if you have a good run, hopefully we can all inspire on our weekly recaps. Now, the question is, what date was Monday?
It was the 14th of March.
Falling up the first hurdle. All right, 14th of March. So here we go. Yeah. So where we are in Portugal, pretty much there's a national park that backs onto the villa. So it's pretty hilly. So what we do is we kind of run up 1 mile and then take a little break and then actually do the run. So I pretty much started off of 1 mile, pretty hilly, 150 feet of elevation, and then stop the watch and then restart it, and then it's all flat just to help the old average. So that was 8 miles, 8:02 pace. Plan last week was to, or this week, should I say, we're on Sunday, was to basically get in some easy miles, see how the Achilles responds to a bit more volume, and run continuously every day.
You said we, and I saw Gina's Instagram the other day. You've taken on a bit of a training camp, I hear. Is she doing them with you?
Yeah, training partner for the week. Pulling her along.
Is she happy about this?
She's been pulling me along because I've been knackered. No, it's been good actually. It's been all right. It's quite sandy on the trail, so I think it's been helping me old Achilles to run a bit slower and have a little bit of soft, sandy surface under the feet. Even though I'm not a massive fan of soft surfaces, I think it's actually helped me. So that was Monday, and then Tuesday, pretty much the same. Pretty much done the same all week. So just a 1 mile up the hill. I was local legend on Tuesday, which was nice. Of some segment. Yeah, I think that's actually a house to the top. So Tuesday I did do some pickups. So I did 4 times 30 seconds just to see how the old Achilles was. And yeah, it was pretty good actually. It was a bit awkward. I don't know whether that was more of me running a bit quicker than I have for the last sort of 10 days or just because it was on trail. So that was 4 times 30 seconds with a 30-second float. Wednesday was pretty much the same, a little bit quicker, 8 miles, 7:52 pace. Old Dan Map sending me the good vibes.
He's got crosses either side of his name on Strava. Interesting.
You got the big sub 9 mile mat as well on the warm up.
I got what?
Your first mile on Monday up the hill was 9:36.
Yeah, but we've seen the gap on that.
Yeah, but you got quicker throughout the week. That's the main thing.
Yeah, I'm progressing. See, what you need to do, Josh, is when you've been injured, it's this thing called building yourself back up. I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
We'll have to wait till we get to my week.
Yeah, well, I'm sure the listeners will find out very quickly. So that was, I've lost my train of thought now. That was Wednesday. Thursday, exactly the same. 8 miles, 7:55 pace. Out and back. I think we saw a few stray dogs actually. I thought they were going to come and attack us, but they ran off. So that was exciting. And then on Friday was the same 8 miles, and then Saturday, yesterday was 8 miles plus I did 8 times 30-second pickups this time, so double what I did on Tuesday. 30-second float. I actually cut the floats down a little bit, just because where I was doing the 30-second floats, the running was a little bit better underfoot. So probably had anything from 20 seconds to 30 seconds in between. And then that brings us to today. So Sunday, the wind here this morning was horrendous. Really, really windy. So we decided to run in Lagos, which is the town about 20 minutes from here. So jumped in the car, drove down, parked up just on a car park just outside. And it was trying to find somewhere where there was no wind, which was really hard to find because we were going to go and do a bit of a loop on the seafront, but obviously the wind was just horrific there. So we just found this like 1.8 mile loop and just ran around there about eight to 9 times. But it was fine, got it done. So managed to get in 10 miles at 7:52.
25 mile per hour wind.
Do you know what, mate? I know there's a few other podcasters out there in the name of Julian Spencer who always thinks we complain about the weather. But I tell you what, it was windy. Do you know the wind where it literally like stops you?
Yeah.
So, so 10 miles.
Just looked at, so you did lose little laps, didn't you? As you just said. I've just clicked on the graph on Strava to have a look at your heart rate. So your heart rate's really low, like 121 average. But every 5 minutes or so, it just literally goes up and down. It goes up to like 145. It's like a little fartlek you've done in the wind by the looks of it.
Yeah, because so the wind was on a hill.
Yeah.
So every time you ran up the hill, obviously the heart rate spiked a little bit, and then the wind just smashed it, and you literally couldn't even run. I had my cap on, which I always run in a cap, which you boys already know. And with the saw caps, they've got like 2 bits where they can bend, and literally like it lifted up, and I thought it was going to fly off the head about 5 or 6 times, but managed to save it.
You know it's windy when you have to turn it backwards and tie it really tightly. Then you know it's windy.
Yeah, I know. So it was all right there. It wasn't too bad in the end. So average 752, which was fine. Yeah, the heart rate's low. Average 121. So brings me to 65 miles for the week actually. So I'm pretty chuffed for that. So I've run every day over an hour, double digits today. So next week I'll build in a session and do probably similar volume to that I've done this week.
So when's the first session then?
Tuesday.
And you're back in the UK tomorrow?
Back at home tomorrow, yeah. So gonna do Tuesday. I'm probably gonna do some short intervals, but maybe a few more. So maybe a 90, 60, 30, and then some sort of progressive run at the end of the week.
There you go. And we were going to mention, I don't know if we need to mention it because I haven't started using mine yet for what I'll come to in a second. You've been using the Super Sapiens monitor or not?
I have, yeah. So I stuck it on 2 weeks ago. It took me a while to figure out what I was doing, to be honest. Because there's like a few. Yeah, I've got the data. I mean, I probably used it at the wrong time because I wasn't doing any running. But I tell you what, actually. So I had it on. So I cross-trained in the morning, and then I come back and I was trying to see how high I could get it.
Let me just explain. So it's a glucose monitor, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's like a little glucose monitor that you've got like this little connector where you push down, and it basically like there's a tiny little needle that like goes into your arm, and it sounds like it's like, you know, it would hurt, but it's not too bad. So that sort of goes into your arm, and then there's this like little flat pod that basically sits on the arm, and they do give you the little cases, don't they? I don't know if you tried the case with them.
No, I need to test mine as soon as I get healthy, but yeah, it's sort of
read the description off the website
if you want to.
So it's the first energy management system that empowers you with real-time data so you can take action and actually make positive behavior change.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, so let me tell you about my positive behavior change. So when I put it on in the morning after a cross train, I came back, I wanted to see how high I could get it, and I got it pretty high, to be fair.
So you just
so as soon as I take a tablespoon of Nutella and just lob that down, you just see it just goes through the roof. It's great. But so I did use it. I think it's a great app. I think there's loads of data there that can be really useful. But I think for me, I think it'd be really beneficial if I was doing a marathon block and I was taking on nutrition throughout the actual session. I think they're the key times that I think this device would be really helpful.
Yeah, and that's what I saw a Sweat Elite video, one of their marathon videos out in Kenya, and she had one on during the session. So she was going to get data from when she was taking her gels and her drinks and see what happens. So yeah.
So I think it'll be really good. I mean, it's nice for the guys to send us a few to try. I think if I was able to have any more, I'd probably do it on my next marathon block just to see when I'm having them dips and where I do need to be taking nutrition on board.
Yeah.
How long do they last?
2 weeks.
I might have something for you. I'll get some stuff sorted to you boys. And yeah, I think we should try it when we're actually properly training. It will give us the best answers. But no, solid week, 65 miles. Matt's back on top of the sort of hosts and co-hosts leaderboard. So second on the list, Josh. I know you haven't run yet tonight.
Yeah.
So
Matt's not going to beat me though.
Talk us through your Monday to Sunday.
So I'm going to explain something as well about my week. So I started. This is a bit influenced by Jake, and you're
There's a
probably
lot to explain.
going to hate it. I wasn't even thinking about anything running related. I started using my watch to do core and strength.
I was going to comment on this.
I know. So I thought I'd get in there first.
You and Jake are clogging up my Strava feed. I've had enough of it.
It's so I don't forget when I do it, because for example, I come like to this. I'm not the best at remembering what I've done. So I thought if I put everything on Strava, then I can't forget.
But just to clarify, you start your core session, you start your stopwatch.
I do it when I start it as soon as I walk into the gym.
And then you stop it when you finish your core workout. Even though you probably faff around for like half of it.
No, I'm pretty good in the gym now. I've got a routine. Now, I can talk you through that.
Okay, well, you go for your week.
Hold on. So you're starting your watch when you enter the gym, and then you're stopping it when you leave. What's the point of that?
So I know what I've been doing.
Well, what's it going to tell you? It's just going to tell you.
When I finish doing. So let me talk you through Let me talk you through an example. So I walk into the gym. I always do my calf raises first. So I've got 3 calf exercises. So I do seated knee lifts. And then I go on to the standing one on the Smith machine on a step. And then I go on to the leg press and do like toe taps. And then it kind of depends what I'm doing. So I've been doing, are they called monster walks with the glute bands?
Yeah.
And then depending on how much time I've got. So at the beginning of the week, I was doing hops as well because I wasn't doing much running. So I'd be hopping up and down the gym. And then I'd do core after that, generally.
Okay.
So watch, and then I'd jump on the cross trainer.
So with Strava, right?
Yeah.
It's designed. What Strava designed for?
Well, there is a strength activity type. So.
No. Okay. So Strava's designed for cardiovascular activity. That's the bread and butter stuff for Strava. If you want to put your core stuff on there and upload it as other, then put that private. I don't want to be scrolling through that. I don't want to be going on Jake Smith's and seeing 4 essays on when he did some sit-ups.
Yep.
Okay. Reminds me.
It's clogging up the feed.
Yeah, every morning I've sort of, especially when him and Jake do it together, I've like woken up to like 15 posts between the two of them about every exercise they've done in the gym.
You say that, but 61 people gave me kudos.
I don't care.
Anyway,
them 61 people need to think about their actions.
Yeah.
So Monday morning. So yeah, did exactly what I just said. And then I did 6 by 6 minutes off 1 minute walk of running. So pace wise, I've not really been focusing on what sort of pace I was doing on those intervals. So I was kind of just running as I felt. So they generally gradually got quicker as I sort of got more warmed up.
On the treadmill, this is, isn't it?
That was on the treadmill, yeah, because it's just easier if I'm in the gym doing like the warming up stuff. It's just easier to do them there. So that was 7:15 in the morning. Then jumped on the cross trainer, and I was hoping to do 60 minutes, but I was a little bit late getting there, so I just did 30 minutes. So yeah, that was Monday. Then Tuesday I did 4 by 10 minutes. So yeah, it's kind of getting up to the point where I was thinking there's kind of no point actually having the minute off. And I think that the last 10 minutes was sort of low sort of 6:10s sort of pace. And it felt fine, felt right. My heart rate was still pretty high. I think in the last block it got to like 160 or something like that. And I was like, it is probably too high, but I've not run properly in 6 weeks really.
Okay, park what you've just said. What you've just said there. So you've not really ran much in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was Wednesday.
Tuesday, isn't it?
Tuesday. Yeah.
Tuesday.
So so I just did over 6 miles, average 7:03. So 4 minutes of that is walking. Then after, so that was at lunchtime, and then in the evening I went and did core and calves, and then I jumped on the cross trainer and I did a session. So I did 15-minute warm up, and then 15 minutes like a decent. I don't. It's like 15 minutes hard, and then 5 by 3 minutes harder, then 15 minutes hard.
How does that add up to an hour 28?
Core and calves, mate.
Recovery.
No, it's a different
Activity.
recovery. So you did 15 minutes, 3 minutes recovery,
Yeah.
18.
Yeah.
5 by 3 minutes, which is 15 minutes off 90 seconds recovery,
Yeah.
which is give or take 7.5 minutes. So what's that? You're now on 25.
I might have jumped
40.
off quickly before the warm down.
55 minutes that session. Anyway.
It can't be. Well, with 15-minute warm up, 15-minute warm down.
Oh, and 15-minute effort.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying that was the warm
No,
up.
yeah, 15 minutes up and down as well. So yeah, average 143 heart rate. So
Didn't I give you 10 minutes?
no, definitely not.
You go find the screenshots, Matt, and we'll.
No, because this was we changed it. That was meant to be minute on, minute off, that one, but we changed it around. So yeah, that was Tuesday. Wednesday. So I was a little bit conscious that I don't want to be in a position where I have to load my calf every single time I run. So I thought what I'm going to do is just do calf raises at home and then go out to run, and just to make sure it feels okay to sort of get back a little bit more into the normal routine. So I went and did 30 minutes, and that was my first continuous run. And it was fine, actually. It was 6:30s. I just did it on my little loop. I found nice. I managed to link it up so it's all off-road.
Right, Matt's just shared the session. The session was.
But no, Matt, did we not
10
change?
minutes. Wait a sec. 10 minutes. 2 minutes easy. 10 by 90 seconds or 45 seconds easy. 2 minutes easy, then 10 minutes.
Yeah,
So
but
you did 15, then you did 3-minute reps.
Yeah, but I'm going to stop you. Let me stop you.
Was that the one that Jake was supposed to do?
Yeah, and I said, can I just do this? And you said, yeah, that's fine.
I thought you changed that though.
No.
To something else.
No. So that on to yeah, I text you and said, and you were like, fine.
Anyway, we're missing the main runs here.
Precisely. So yeah, 30 minutes continuous on Wednesday. So it was all good. I didn't do anything. I was quite busy with work. I didn't actually finish work pretty late, so I didn't cross train on Wednesday. And then Thursday, so I did an hour cross training, and I did some weights, sort of heavier weights, because I want to try and get back into that routine. And in the evening, I did a continuous run, so 35 minutes with Jake. So that was 6:32s. So, do you know what? I think you mentioned it before. Aaron. Where I live now is pretty hilly. And yeah, the heart rate got to about 170 on one of the hills. But that was kind of, again, it's because I've not been running much. I was like, oh, it's a bit high. But I think you commented on said nice threshold run or something. But yeah,
remember that bit then again. You've not been running much.
I know. Exactly.
We're building beautifully here.
Yeah. Come on, keep going.
Yeah, and then Friday. So I was in the gym Friday morning at 6 o'clock. So I did an hour of calves, band work, and core. And then I did a session on the cross trainer. So 15-minute warm up and 20 by minute on, 30 seconds off. And do you know what? Even with 30 seconds off and a minute on, I can't get my heart rate up high enough. It just drops too quick, like because of the minute reps not long enough.
But
yeah.
When you do a minute rep in running, it's similar. Like it's very rare you get your heart rate really, really high in a minute rep of running.
I've never really looked at it.
I know exactly. Yeah.
It's only because I'm glancing at my watch to see how high I can get it. And then 15 minutes down. So I was like in the gym for like 2.5 hours, and I went into the sauna for 10 minutes afterwards, treat myself.
You did an hour of core and band work.
Yeah, and calf raises.
Fair play. I tell you what, this boy doesn't need any motivation.
Yeah. Well, it's 55 minutes, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll save my questions for the end, actually.
Okay, then Friday.
We're getting to the good one.
Yeah.
No, not yet. Friday evening. So I ran with Billy. He just lives around the corner. So did 45 minutes on the 6:44s. The heart rate was a little bit lower. So getting there.
How low?
What was your heart rate?
I think it was still. Let me look.
141 average.
Yeah, there you go. Shape.
And what pace?
6:44s.
141, 644s.
Yeah, so I'm getting fitter and fitter day by day. And then I did 6 by 15 second strides. I tried out the street flies actually. Have you boys tried them?
No.
I've had a torn Achilles for 8 weeks. I've not done any strides, but
so I quite like them, but they're pretty big. So I would get half a size smaller than normal. Would be my recommendation for anyone that's.
Is that your Pro Direct recommendation?
I paid for them. Yeah. Then Saturday morning.
Here we go. Here's the big one.
So I went for a run with Jake. So we went pretty early. Because I was going to go to the gym afterwards and a few bits to do. So we're going to do 50 minutes. Matt's laughing already. I haven't even said anything. There's going to be 50 minutes, and we're going to sort of not like progress silly, but we're going to get a little bit quicker near the end. So and sort of start off a bit slower. So we started off, and the first mile was a little bit quick. So it was 6:09, I think. And you know those runs where you kind of run a pace, and it's quite hard to slow down. No, I get that a lot. So yeah, we did get quicker as we went. So we did well. I ended up kind of misjudged the route as well. So it ended up being 55 minutes.
Sure.
I walked 15 minutes home. I was so cold, but I was like, if I do more, I'm never going to hear the end of it. So yeah, it started at 6:09s, and we kind of got down to about 5:25s. So yeah, it's average 5:44s for 55 minutes. But my heart rate was 159, so
Threshold.
getting better.
You basically did a 50-minute threshold.
Yeah, but do you know what the funny thing was? We were talking the whole time.
Great.
So yeah.
But Matt gives you on paper, and I've seen it, 50 minutes easy. What goes through your head to go, Jake, should we go for a run this morning? And he says, yes. And then you say, in your first conversation is, we're going to get down a bit on this run. Your run is an easy run. Why are you thinking that you need to cut it down?
It was Jake who wanted to progress a bit, and I was like, that's fine. I mean, I wasn't anticipating to run 5:25s. If we ran 6:15, 6:10s, even
Why?
6.
But that's not what you've got on paper, though.
It's not hard run.
Yeah, but it's not what you've got on paper. You've got an easy run. Why do you feel the need that you have to keep pushing things on every single run? You do it on every single cross training session, every single run. You just push it, and you did it before you're injured, and you pushed and pushed. And yes, you're feeling fine right now, but what's going to happen in 2 weeks? Do you think you're going to be like in 10K? Are you doing it because you think you're going to get fitter quicker, or what's the reason?
Yes.
You think you're going to get fitter quicker by doing it? Okay. Well,
okay. So if you're going to get fitter quicker, what are you getting fit for?
Well, at the minute, I have no option to race because I'm not fit. I just want to race. So I would rather get fitter and actually have the option to race.
But rushing back, getting fit, it only goes one way.
I would say, like, I didn't intentionally run that pace. And once we started, there was no point just slowing down now. I mean, we probably could,
but let's say tonight. So tonight, what have you got tonight? 50 minutes again?
Yeah, I'm going to do 50 minutes. Easy.
And you're going to go easy?
Yeah.
So in your head, what are you saying is easy?
Okay, the problem I probably have is I don't look at my watch really. I just run, and I just run how I feel.
But that got you in trouble before. So why don't you start looking at your watch? Let you consider that.
Yeah. Well, the question would be, if I look at my watch, would I actually do anything with it? Probably not.
Well, yeah, I just think it's just trying to be a bit more sensible. Like, I agree with Matt. There's no, I don't think there's any rush. You don't need to rush things. And it's not like we're both trying to make you deliberately run slow because we want you to run slow. It's just, I don't want to see you injured again in 2 weeks because you've tried to push things. Like, especially when you've spent the last 4 weeks waking up at 6 a.m. to go to the gym. Like, you don't want to break yourself in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I find it really hard, to be honest. I would happily admit that I find it really hard to just go for a jog.
Yeah,
I did it 2 years ago, and I hated every single run I did. I literally hated it.
did what? Sorry, 2 years ago.
Like 2 years. Well, was it 2 years ago or a year ago?
What, ran easy?
Yeah, when I was running really easy, and I hated it.
But answer me this, then: were you healthy?
I was, but I also ran my slowest ever 5K. Well, not ever, but
Yeah, but you weren't 5K specific though. We were training for a marathon.
no. Before that, though, when I did Sport City,
Matumbos, mate. Now you've got dragonflies. It will be different.
yeah.
So you've also been banned from the cross trainer. Is this true?
Yeah. So I was, after that run, I called Matt to pre-warn him, because I knew if he saw that on Strava, I'd probably, he would call me unhappy. So I pre-warned him. And to be fair, Matt, you weren't like furious with me.
Well,
And then the dipshit wanted to go and do a cross. Listen, you're a grown man.
Yeah.
Right? You make your own decisions. I'm only guiding you and trying to hold you back and trying to keep you healthy. Now, would you be on the start line in Seville if you followed everything that I told you to do, perhaps? So you wanted to take chances and risks, and that's absolutely fine. You're your own person. I'm only guiding you. At the end of the day, it's up to you what you want to do.
So the cross trainer ban.
Cross trainer ban.
So I asked Matt. Matt asked me what I'm going to do for the rest of the day, and I said, "Well, I've just got back. I'm going to have some food, and I'm going to go to the gym." And he was like, "Well, why are you going to the gym?" So I said, "I'm going to cross train for an hour."
But yeah, so that's why I was interested. Why do you think you need to cross train after you've done a run like that?
Probably for the same reason.
But so that run you did, and I've got the same question for Jake. I need to ask him it. You do a hard run, and instead of recovering, you're going to do more stress. Can you not see that's probably not sensible? Like in your own brain, like without asking that.
Cross training easy. Is it really that much stress?
You don't cross train easy. That's yours and Jake's problem. You play these games with yourselves to get your heart rate as high as possible. I've seen it on both of your things.
If I go to cross train for like a specific, like 60 minutes normal, I would get my heart rate to probably like 140.
But it's also just stacking it. Like, I get it if somebody's doing a long run and they're injured, and a few people have had success with it, where they do 90-minute long run, then jump on the cross trainer for an hour to supplement their long run. I get that. But when you've done something fairly hard and you've got like an hour window to recover and repair and eat and do whatever you need to do to recover, surely going on the cross trainer is just impacting that recovery time. Whatever you do on the cross trainer. Unless you're doing it as a long run. Sorry?
I don't really think of it like that, to be honest.
Maybe you need to start thinking.
But anyway, I didn't cross train, but I did go to the gym. So I did my calves.
I said on Strava. I need to see this.
I know. I forgot to do it. I went in the sauna instead. So that was Saturday, and then today I'm going to do 50 minutes, like easy. And so I'll wear a tracksuit so I can't overrun. And that's actually why I started wearing tracksuits in the first place. Because if I ended up running in a t-shirt, I just end up running probably too hard.
Run to heart rate, mate.
Yeah.
So
do you not remember though, Matt, when I tried to do that before, and I got to a point where I think you said run like 130 heart rate, and there was one day where I got down to 9-minute miling, I still was over that.
Yeah, but over time you're fine. I think at the end of the day, you just use it as a guide. It's like everything, isn't it? You just got to use how you feel and your heart rate as a guide. Like if your heart rate's under 140, like your heart rate might be slightly different to mine. Like I can operate at a really low heart rate at a slow pace. That's just how I run. You're different. And I'm not saying do what I do because you're a different runner, but you've got to control some of the things you're doing.
Yeah. Looking at your paces, I would say when you're fit, your easy running is under 140-ish average. But probably right now, like under 145 average is still probably pretty easy for you. But I wouldn't go up to 160, 170 like you, even though you're still comfortable.
To be honest, some of those that like 170, that's up a hill. Like it's quite hilly around here.
Yeah. Anyway, this isn't an intervention yet, so if it comes to that,
it's a work in progress.
But the main thing is you're back running. What's that? You're going to do about 45 this week, I'd say.
What am I on now?
38.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, and just to add to that, right? I think the one positive of it, and maybe not, like I know you said don't rush back to fitness, but we were chatting for 55 minutes running, and we got down to 525s, and I actually felt fine. Like my legs didn't feel my legs didn't feel bad. My cardio felt okay. Yeah, my heart rate was a little bit higher than normal, but I think it shows you can stay pretty fit if you cross train a fair amount.
Oh yeah, 100% agree.
Like
I think it's the thing is,
like I didn't feel great. Like I felt like I haven't run in 6 weeks, because that's the fourth continuous run I've done in 6 weeks.
And also as well, you're coming back from muscle strain. So if you're running quicker, what are you going to do? You're going to be putting more load on the soleus and the gastroc, and then from that, do you see what I'm saying? It's the loading. So I'm running 8-minute miling, over 8-minute miling. What does that do to my Achilles? Well, I'm loading my Achilles less and less because I'm running slower and slower. So then that's what you need to be doing with your runs. See what I'm saying? To get to a stage where you can tolerate going quicker because you've done the volume at a sort of pace. Tell you what, if Moose is listening, there's no amateur hour.
No,
we're pulling out everything today.
Expertise. Talking about expertise, shall I go into my week? Because Josh has got some expert knowledge on how I should recover. So I'll get his insight in a second. So Monday was in the office and it was beautiful, sunny outside, shorts, t-shirts, did just over 10 and a half mile at 6:57s, pretty comfortable, no issues, all good, loving life. Listening to probably Inside Running on that jog. I think I listened to Josh Kerr's interview, which was pretty good. I thought, if you've not listened to it, it's worth a listen. He's pretty different to most athletes, and pretty sort of puts it out there what he wants to do and doesn't mind being competitive. And yeah, he's got a different approach to the sport, which I found pretty inspirational. So that was Monday. Then I recorded with you boys, all good. Was going to go for a run on the treadmill. I just felt tired. I thought, maybe I just need an early night. So had an early night, and I'd already had a text the day before, Monday morning, from Philippa, who I'd been with on Sunday, and she tested positive for COVID. And I'd been with her in her house, passed her a sweaty jacket and all that stuff. So thought I'd gotten away with it. Tuesday morning, woke up, was full of cold basically, and did a test, did a lateral flow, and was positive for the first time. And yeah, got COVID. So
what'd you do, a lateral flow?
Yeah. And initially I was meant to go to the office on Tuesday, that's why I did it, and I just felt a bit coldy, not too bad, but I thought I'd do one. And actually when I did it looked fine. Went upstairs and got changed and was about to go out the door, and Jenny was like, there's a little line on there, and it was like a faint line on the T, as well as this, and then a strong one on the C. So yeah, stayed at home and thought, hopefully I've just got it right, really mild. And it just got worse throughout the day. I couldn't work in the afternoon, so took the afternoon off work, and woke up Wednesday, was even worse. So basically said, look, I'm gonna take the rest of the week off work, because I just I had a massive headache, sore throat, phlegmy, just like a heavy cold. It wasn't as bad as when I had it, I think, last summer. And
do you have to isolate?
Yeah. So annoyingly, it wasn't too bad actually, because I couldn't go to the office, which is fine. But Jenny and Eliza are home and they've not got it yet. It'll be worse for them if because Jenny's meant to work next week and she's got to have a PCR. So if she tests positive, it'll be worse. But loads of people have cancelled on them. Like, she's had plans to see people this week, but they've not like met up with her because I've tested positive. So yeah, bit shit for her, but I've just sort of been in bed. It's also meant that I've not been able to, like, I don't know, change nappies or anything. So I've been too poorly, so I've got out of that. So I've had a good week.
Did you have to wear nappies as well then for COVID?
No, I used the excuse that I didn't want to give it to Eliza or Jenny, so I've just sort of stayed clear of them all week. But
you're on the gentleman liners, are you?
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, took Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off running, and got to Friday, and I messaged Josh, and Josh's advice was to run through it because he'd also had it and he was fine. So
let me explain this. So, because you got in a mood with me and you ignored me for about 2 days.
I'm just not. I'll just preempt this with, when COVID and these sorts of and illnesses, they're not a competition. And just because one person's had something doesn't mean the other person has got it exactly the same. Like, I can get it very different to you.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
You giving me the advice of I just need I need to man up and run through it, don't be a pussy, isn't helpful.
No, but what I actually said was, why don't you try and run and monitor your heart rate? Because you've had how much time off in the last 6 months?
Yeah,
so much.
And
if it was me in your position, I would be thinking, I can't afford to have much more time off if I actually want to race.
But that's ridiculous. You've got COVID. You've got an issue.
Yeah, but I'm not. So if your heart rate gets high, then yeah, stop.
But I feel ill. Like, I've got like, it's any illness. Like, if I had a cold and felt that way, there's no chance I can run. I just can't.
I mean, I would, if my heart rate was fine, I would run.
It's not about. Let's say you've got symptoms. Let's say you've got a massive headache and you're full of phlegm. Your head's full of snot. You're going to go out for a run.
Yeah, I would. if it was my head and just a bit of phlegm, yeah.
And you've never been ill in your life that you can't run.
I mean, when I had COVID, I had 2 days off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I had 3. That's basically the same.
I can tell you the last time before that I didn't run.
But this is what you said. I'm talking about this time when I'm ill. Anyway, so I got to Friday and I did feel a little bit better. And I was doing what you were saying. I was looking at my heart rate, and my heart rate overnight was better. It was probably about 4 or 5 beats higher than it usually is. And I thought, I'm going to go out and do a run because Josh told me to, and I'm going to go see what it's like. And it was dreadful. So I had come back too soon. And I was slightly annoyed at myself for following bad advice of trying to get back into running, and yeah, just being a bit of an idiot. And anyway, so I did half an hour on the trails and 7:40 pace. Heart rate got a little bit high, but it was more the way I felt more than my heart rate. So that was Friday. Actually, Thursday I interviewed Jess Piasecki, which is, we're going to come to after this. She was good. She managed to, listen to my advice, listen to my questions, even though I had a dodgy voice. Saturday, I did 35 minutes because I was feeling slightly better again. Heart rate was okay, but I just got to about 7-8K and my head was just a bit, when you got a cold and your head's just a bit stingy. It was still a bit like that. And I thought, I'm not going to push it anymore. This morning, again, felt better. So I did 50, just over 7 miles, 53 minutes at 7:13s. Heart rate, pretty decent on that. I think I averaged, 135 for the whole run, which is it's good because when I had the issues last time, I did the same sort of run, and that's when my heart rate was getting up to like 150, 160, like averaging 145. So I feel like I'm on the road to recovery, but I'm still not ready for a session. And I don't know, I think I value my health more than trying to push it to get back for, like, I'm in no rush to get back. And yes, it's more time off, but I'd rather take the time off than not have long-term effects, I would say. It's difficult. I just think with something like COVID, where nobody knows the implications it can have, yeah, I'd rather not risk it at this point. Risk versus reward, Josh.
Exactly.
But you want me to bang it?
I'm not saying that. I just think you could if you monitor it sensibly. I don't see why it's an issue running.
That's what I did.
Yeah, there you
go. But yeah, it's more how I feel, I think, half the time. Anyway, what's that for the week? Less than you two boys, anyway. I can't remember. 20 something, is it?
27.
Right. Before I start coughing, because my voice is about to go, can you give me Weston's wise words, Matt?
Oh, I absolutely can. Bear with me. So here we go. So this week's Weston's wise words. What date is it today? I'll be even more professional. It's 20th of March and it's 6:30 p.m. How many different running programs should you try before settling on the best one for you? If you try just one and settle on that, then chances are that you've not chosen the best one. If you tried 10 different plans, then you may have stumbled across the best plan, but be retired as it's taken too long to test them all. Weston's wise words is to try 3 or 4 if you're young enough, and then settle on the best of those. This is taken from computer science and can be applied to a lot of different areas of life. For example, if you've just moved into a new area and you're trying to find the best restaurant, it's best to try 3 or 4, then choose the best one out of those. Remember, the joy of the young is discovering. The joy of the old is relishing.
Relishing?
Yes, sorry, relishing. Yes, I can't say that word. So there you go. Another great wise words. Maybe we should cut out that bit that I couldn't actually read out properly.
That applies to us, I think. Josh, the young man, tries all these different things, whereas, yeah, me, the old man, is relishing.
So there we go. Thanks, Dan.
On those training sort of techniques or whatever, how long do you think you should give them a go for, though? Because let's say you've got let's say Josh is starting a training block and you're going to try double threshold days. How long do you sort of go through with that before you decide you're going to try something else?
I think at least 6 weeks. See if there's any benefit in it.
Yeah, because I think that's what they often flip around different things without spending long enough doing one thing properly. They're sort of always, yeah. What's up?
I'd said more than that.
Yeah, I'd probably say,
8 to 12 maybe.
Yeah, 3 months.
Yeah, like a block.
Cool. Thanks for Weston's wise words. He's always got something interesting to talk about. My comment, my rant for the week is actually, I've been watching the World Champs indoors this week, and I know you have as well, Matt. These Australian outfits, what have Puma done to them? Like, you've got
the Asics, aren't they?
The Puma, I believe.
Are they Puma?
Yeah, I was looking at, some of these distance boys, and usually, you watch the lineup and the boys in the Nike vests and other brands, they're nice sort of singlet type designs where they sort of cut away like a normal vest. Whereas the Australians got tank tops. It's the only way I can describe them. And what I don't understand is why some of these national bodies can't arrange a good kit deal. I don't.
It's like they've got the off-cuts, isn't it?
Yeah.
I bet it is a good kit deal financially.
Yes. Yeah, but not for the athletes. And that sort of leads me on to the other thing with it is, so you've got someone, let's say Ollie Hoare, who's just running that 1500 we watched. He's in a t-shirt, like all in one. That may be his choice. He may like that sort of thing, but anyway. And he's got a massive number on the front with big safety pins. He's got sticky numbers on his legs, and he's obviously got this terrible fabric in his outfit. Like, but he does all these marginal gains to make sure he can get every 10th of a second he can. And we still do these silly, old-fashioned things. I don't get it.
One thing I definitely do agree with is numbers should not be pinned on.
Why do we need numbers?
This day and age. Well, yeah, exactly.
Like,
They don't do it in America, do they anymore? It's a very sticky number on a very small number on your vest at the top.
what do you even need the number for?
I guess it's, yeah. Actually, I don't know.
Because it used to be for hand timing. I'm sure they still do an element of hand timing. But yeah, I've not been on a officiating course ever to understand why you need them, but I don't get it. Surely there's a better way than big safety pins too. But have you not seen these Australian tank tops?
I saw what Ollie Hall was wearing. That's the only one.
Yeah, I'll try and dig out a picture of them. But yeah,
It's not a good look. Sorry,
They
boys.
need to
and
do
girls.
better for athletes. Anyway.
Would you wear a speed suit for 1500 though?
Oh yeah, that's my other question. I was saying this to Josh before. Like, so Ollie Hoare is obviously a distance athlete, and we're distance athletes. When would it start to cross your mind that you're going to wear an all-in-one for a 1500 map?
Do you know what? I'd debate it.
If I wore an all-in-one, I'd look an absolute mess. I remember Christmas when Telford was on. There was a lad there who was wearing a speed suit.
Really? Where
I'm
do
not
you?
saying names.
Jack Rowe won a European cross.
Wow.
I mean, fair play to the lads that do that. I mean, I'm not confident enough to pull that thing off.
Stick a few more socks down there.
I look like an Olympic weightlifter.
Yeah. Maybe there's something in it.
No, not an Olympic one. I'd be just like just somebody who's lifting weights. I don't know why I said Olympic weightlifter. Just because they wear them sort of all in ones, don't they?
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Let's thank some patrons because we haven't done it for a couple of weeks because we haven't. I kept missing it. So, do you want me to read this one? I'll read it. I'll read Dave Richardson. Josh, you can do the next one.
Eric.
So yeah, thanking Dave Richardson. He's from Abercarn. Is that how you say it, Matt, in Wales?
Sorry?
Abercarn, is that how you pronounce a place in Wales?
That's how I would say it, but I don't know if that's how a Welsh.
Let's just go with that. I'm trying to find your spelling of it so I can pronounce it.
Yeah, it's how I said it, so I hope it's right.
That's fine.
You never know.
Matt.
He's got PBs of 17, 15, 5k, 35, 33 for 10k, 118, 56 for the half, and 251 for the full. So yeah, I think you can knock some minutes off that full marathon, Dave. Get down to 245. Dave loves an ultra. He's got PBs on Strava over 100k and 100 miles. That's a long way. I'm sure it's like
a long way.
I'm sure it's like 23 hours he's got for 100 miles as well. Something good. But sounds impressive. I've stitched myself up here because I put in his club thinking you were going to read it, Clousy. So he runs for Pontypridd and district runners. Pontypridd and district runners. He's coached by Josh Griffiths. He maybe has a black and white dog. I don't know the breeds of dogs. It's kind of one of those.
Sounds like a good dog to me.
One of those sheepdog type things. Are they collies? I don't know.
Dogs.
Yeah, let's go with that.
He's got the saw vest. Is it the pink one for the crosses on for racing? And he used to have the Josh Lund haircut back in 2011.
Which Josh Allen haircut?
I'll
though?
see if I don't know if I've ever shared it on our Instagram. The one
Was that
of
when
you
he was a Grebo?
coming out of the water with like sort of shoulder length hair, swept. So he's got like it's like a bob,
The kittens.
like a girl bob with not curtains. He's got it straight across the front as well. So yeah, is your school picture, Josh, from like year 10?
Yes.
Pretty similar to that. That's his haircut.
Similar timing. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for your support, Dave, and apologies if you liked your haircut back in 2011.
Cool. So I'm thanking Eric Winston. So he's from Peterborough. He's got PBs 5K of 17:07, 35:52, 79:38, and 3 hours 06:32 for the marathon.
And he says himself that's the weak one.
Yeah, definitely. I think looking at those. So facts about Eric. So he started life as a PE teacher and a youth coach for Peterborough United FC. He's run 12 London marathons, 22 Great North runs, and ever present at the Great Eastern Run, which is in Peterborough.
I think it's about 28 maybe in a row.
Nearly as old as me.
Yeah.
And he's still running well as a vet 70. He doesn't look 70, does he? So Eric.
Go on, Eric.
Aaron and I know him well. Yeah, he definitely doesn't look 70. And he's just gained an England Masters vest a few weeks ago. He may not have broken his thumb on a recent stag do that Aaron attended.
I can't confirm that. He also does a podcast, as Eric. Me and Josh have been on before. Pretty much a local scene one.
Easier said than run.
There you go. There's your plug, Eric. Right. Got a couple of listener questions this week, and I'll start with the first one because it's relevant to what I just talked about. Sorry, my voice is... I've got this like tickle in my throat. COVID tickle. Any tips for someone training for the first marathon and recovering from COVID mid-block? And that's from Pat. Matt, what's your advice if you're recovering from COVID in marathon training? What should you do, in your opinion?
Pat, I'm going to level with you now, mate. Don't do any training when you've got it. And depending on where it is in the block, so if it is mid, you've obviously got a good body of work behind you. So let's say you're doing a 12-week block. If you hit it at 6 weeks, then it's 10 days, 12 days, at least a week of just not doing a lot, stressing the body wise, and then see how you feel and see how you recover. It all depends on the severity of your symptoms, I guess, as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I've had quite a lot of athletes who've had COVID. I mean, it's back again in the UK, unfortunately. It's sort of everywhere at the moment. And the thing I've seen from people is, and what I tell people to do is don't run while you test positive. Once you're testing negative, then start out with some easier running. And like you say, pretty much for a week to 10 days, just easy run and just keep an eye on that everything's okay. Then reintroduce some strides, pretty much like coming back from injury. And I had a guy who actually got COVID 9 weeks out from a marathon, and he took 10 full days off running. He's back in for about 5-6 days, still ran a PB. So,
and sometimes as well, it's almost like it could work in your favor. It's almost like it's hitting the pause button, which you may need at 6 to 7 weeks of marathon training. So it may not be a bad thing. I mean, obviously it's a bad thing in the sense that you've caught COVID, but it's the good thing perhaps if you can hit that pause button, and you may feel fresher from it.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, hopefully it gives you some advice, Pat. Second question from our good friend Tom Halloway.
Do I not get an opinion on that?
You can have an opinion on this one. I'm not interested in your opinion on the last one after what you told me. So second question for you, Josh. He's inspired by you. Inspired by Josh's 4x4 mile with mile float. I want to try it in my block. Not sure when is best. Question.
So I would say that is probably the last session you want to do, like big session before the race. So probably no nearer to the race than 3 weeks out.
It's got a little prompt there for Matt.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Yeah, I would say 3 weeks out, to give you time to recover from it, because you're doing 60 miles at a good pace. I mean, if your floats are decent as well, it's probably 20 miles at a decent lick. So you need time to recover from that.
Yeah, and Matt, as the coach setting that session, can you give us some guidance to like paces that you would think you'd want your athlete to run for the 4-mile blocks, and then also for the float?
Yeah, so I mean, I'd prescribe this probably, 3 weeks, no more than sort of 12 days before the marathon. Like if it's 3 weeks, then that's probably about right. So the 4 miles, the 4-mile reps would be at marathon pace, and then the float would be about 30 to 40 seconds slower per mile to what your marathon pace would be.
Okay, so is that goal marathon pace you're saying?
Yeah, because let's be honest, at the time where you're 3 weeks out, you should be at where you want to be for your goal marathon pace anyway. So I wouldn't say, run it at 5 to 10 seconds slower, because you need to have some sort of stimulation there as far as having that, pace bang on each rep as you go.
Yeah, I found when I've given people 4x6K, which is fairly similar off 2K float, it's very easy. Oh, it's not easy. It's tempting to run those blocks quicker than marathon pace, because you can. And I always say to people, just hold back to what your goal marathon pace is, and just get the confidence from it feeling. If it does feel comfortable, that's great. You don't have to push it any quicker.
Well, the problem you have is like when Josh did his, you feel, because you're in that rhythm, your floats become quicker. And you won't feel it until the last 6 miles with the rep and the floats.
Yeah, I often get people to back off. Yeah, similar, about 40, 45 seconds a mile. Is that a minute per K? Anyway, so yeah, it's a tough one. And I also think it's not for everyone. I think you've got to have built up to it. So depending on what you've done in your marathon block, you can't just throw that session in 3 weeks out just because you want to. You sort of need to have some sort of background in those type of sessions, I would say. Cool. So yeah, I'm sure you'll give us your feedback on that, Tom, and when you do it, let us know how it goes. So news and results. World Indoors, we'll start there. It's been I'd say a fairly poor champs for the Brits. We had 2 other big medal hopes drop out literally minutes before their heats. Like, you didn't actually know they weren't going to be on the start until they didn't appear in their blocks. So Keely Hodgkinson and Elliot Giles both withdrew through injury. I think Elliot Giles got injured in the warm-up. Keely got injured in the week before, potentially.
To get injured in the warm-up, you've got to have a niggle, right?
Is it intercostals, he said. So I don't know how he did it. I do think, though, it's such a big year, isn't it, for our athletes? Like, there's so many things in the summer, and yes, it is a World Indoors, but I think they prioritize the outdoors more. So
yeah, Keely said that. She said there's more important things.
Because I saw the American lads today in the 4x400. Is it Isaiah? He was an 800-meter runner. Isaiah Brown.
Isaiah Young, isn't it? No, Harris. Sorry,
Harris,
he had a hammy, didn't he?
Yeah, and he carried on, didn't he? And I do wonder if that was the most sensible decision. Because I first thought maybe it's 2 to qualify, but when I realised it was just 1, I thought, I know you've got a team, but anyway, yeah, there's big things on this summer. So anyway, we'll talk about athletes who did compete. 1,500 meters. Erin Wallace, she went out in the heats, finished 5th in 4:12. Yeah, I think the turn of pace got to her. It's similar to George Mills. He faded. He can't have been right. He didn't look right. As soon as they sort of changed pace, he just couldn't go with it. And yeah, he ran 3:47 for 7th. Neil Gorley had a messy heat, but he took the win in 3:42. And we just watched the final, boys. Have you got the result? Has anyone got the actual times up to talk through the final?
You ran 3:35.
Neil did.
Yeah.
For what place was it in the end?
Sixth.
So yeah, interesting final. Ingebrigtsen got out kicked, so didn't take away the gold that most people were expecting, and I upset Gina by saying I was glad that he didn't. So
big fan.
So why is she a big fan, Matt? While I pull up these results,
she thinks he's dishy.
Does she?
Yeah.
Maybe you need to.
So there you go.
You've never watched.
Maybe Josh? I need to write some Sharpie little like dots and stuff and lines on my arms and legs.
You need one of those
tattoos.
Those speed suits, maybe. Anyway, I've got the results in front of me now. So Tefera took the win, 3:32. So very cool championship record. Ingebrigtsen second. Kipsang took the bronze. Ollie Hoare, solid run in fifth, and Neil Gorley sixth, as Josh said. So yeah, decent run for Neil. That's pretty impressive in a major final. 3,000 meters, heats wise, Jermaine Coleman, another one didn't look quite right. As soon as the pace sort of changed in his heat, he went out the back and just didn't look himself. So he faded away for outside 8 minutes in the end. But Marc Scott put on the burners in his heat to take the win in 7:54. Looked absolutely in control, barely sweating when he finished. So that was impressive. And before we talk about the final, there was a straight final in the women's where the Brit Amy Eloise Markovic took 15th in 8:53. The American was probably most impressive in that race. St. Pierre, she took silver between the Ethiopian pair of Halu and Tay, I think it was, who got gold and bronze. It's just a turn of pace, I think, in some of those races for some of those girls who aren't used to, they compete against some of these African girls who are capable of like 8:20 and quicker. As soon as they drop in a 32, 33 second 200, it just splits open the race, doesn't it? But yeah, men's final, we got a medal. Marc Scott, bronze medal behind Borrega and Germa. Going into that last lap, there was a group of almost 7 of them. Michelle of Spain was hanging on still, and you had the 2 Kenyans. But Marc got himself out of trouble and, yeah, showed his pace. And in his interview afterwards, he said that's what he's been working on with Joe Schumacher in the group all winter. And Josh's training partner, so Josh knows all about what they get up to. But yeah, he had a turn of pace to compete, and it's impressive. Look, we've got another Brit who's able to compete at a world stage over the endurance events. So be interested to see how he, his group of Grant Fisher and Mohamed, how they compete in the summer. Can they mix it for the medals in the outdoors? Any comments? Josh texted him, but he didn't watch it.
Yeah, I've actually been pretty bad watching the indoors, to be honest. I actually got a notification from BBC Sport. My main interest this weekend's been the Formula One, so apologies on that. But yeah, I mean, impressive, like you say. I didn't think with a lap to go watching it, he was going to medal. So he looked, with like 150 to go, 100 to go, he looked, impressive. And he looked strong as well. He wasn't coming to the finish. If someone was sort of challenging him, he looked like he could fend that off.
Yeah, it was a good run. Great performance by Marc.
Yeah, it's good to get a medal. We'll get him on the show. Josh, you need to tap him up. Do a proper interview now. We're established and professional.
Absolutely.
We can sort that out. Right. New York half was on today. I tried to watch the stream. I couldn't deal with the American commentators. It was probably one of the worst commentary I've heard. So I turned that off and just followed it on the app. In the men's, Ronik Kipruto took the win in 60-30. he pulled away from Cesarek. He's American now, isn't he? Cesarek, King Ches.
He is. He's Kenyan.
He's still Kenyan, is he? And Mekonnen, Ethiopian Mekkonen, whatever his name. But yeah, pretty close race between those. But Kiprotu took that. We had British representation in Ben Connor. He faded slightly for 63.59, so I don't think he'll be best pleased with that run. Not sure what he's building up to. Josh didn't think he's too keen on.
I think it'll be Highgate. It would be my guess.
Yeah, he's not too keen on another marathon anytime soon, is he?
No, I don't believe so.
Any other Brits that you know running out there, men?
Not men.
Okay, we'll come on to the women's. So in the women's race, Senbiri Tafiri took the win in 67.35, which, yeah, I'm not sure on the course because the course used to be fairly quick back in the day when, as said to you, Josh, the likes of Tomo and Overall and a few people ran 61 minutes. It always used to be pretty quick. So they must have changed it somewhere. She took the win 67.35. Irene Cheptai was 2 seconds behind her, so close between those two. And Grovdal of Norway was third in 68.07. Charlie Purdue, I think, took sixth. The American girl was fifth, just ahead of her. So I haven't seen the full results. I only could see top five on the app. But yeah, she ran 69.57. So solid outing from Charlie. She builds up to the world champs. And Steph Twell also building up to potentially another marathon. I watched a Sweat Elite video about her from a few months ago where she was talking about, building up to a summer. She ran 74.40. So I'm not too sure she'd be overly delighted with that, but it's good to see her back. Other news in that race was Galen Rupp dropped out just after 7K. I don't know. Apparently he shouted a load of swear words as he dropped out. So I don't know if he pulled something or what, but yeah, he's out again with another injury. So New York, you didn't watch New York, Matt?
No, I didn't know. I think there was LA Marathon as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, I did see that. I haven't got the results from it though. I don't know if there's any Brits running.
We can report that next week, can't we?
I'm not sure if there's any Brits running, but who knows. Wilmslow half, quick. There's a couple of quick domestic races. Wilmslow half. Johnny Mello took the win, 64.24. I think was running marathon effort. So that's promising. And Ross Millington doing similar, 65.14. So again, suggests that he's going for a quick time in Manchester. Both of them are going for quick times in Manchester. Chris Perry took the bronze, 65.36.
Was Chris Perry going for marathon effort as well?
Yeah, his reply to me earlier was, just doing marathon effort ahead of the big one in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I told him the big one was in Cheshire in 5 weeks, so he said he'll double up for both of them, and just not. Yeah. In the women's race, Anna Bracegirdle, regular name I mentioned on this podcast, took the win in 73.23. Ali Lavender, again, another name I mentioned, fair amount, 75.19. And Abby Howarth, I think it's Abby. I want to say there's quite a few Howarths. I want to say it's Chris's other half.
Yeah.
It is Abby. Is that correct, Josh?
Yeah.
Yeah. 75.44. I should have put a first name, then I wouldn't be so confused. I'm only confused because there's about 3 sisters who run. I'm not just. I want to make sure that I've got the right one. Anyway, Eastleigh 10K was on this morning too. Alex Lawrence won by over half a minute in 29.28. Alex is originally from Ipswich by the looks of it, so got some competition on the Suffolk, King of Suffolk. So need to get that together. Him and Kieran Clements have dethroned me in recent years. And Sarah Aston took the win in a quick 33.18. Is that PB? Would we say? I would say so. While you're Googling that, the last result I've got is the University of Birmingham 5K. Why have we got 5,000 metre races on already?
Yeah, I said this. I know James Huntman. I couldn't believe there was a track race.
We're in March. In the UK, in Cardiff.
It was a PB for Sarah.
Lucky, good. Yeah, good run for Sarah. Luckily, they got some nice. Well, they had nice weather here. So I'm going to say it's the same in Cardiff because that's only 5 hours away, so it must be the same. Michael Ward took the win in 13:57, so decent run from him. I think he was fairly clear at the front too. And Rachel Franklin from the Manx Club on the Isle of Man, 16:01, so just outside breaking that 16-minute mark, but decent run from those two in very early track season days. So I think that's everything results wise. I think I've been pretty comprehensive tonight.
I tell you what, guys, what I think we've
professionalism
got ourselves today, just the professionalism is just
and also I've pumped out content. I think I put out the main show on Wednesday. No, I put in Patreon show on Monday, Lucy an interview the Sunday before that, main show on Wednesday to everybody, Jess Piasecki interview Thursday, that went out to people, did a little Patreon series with Will Bryan and Kieran Walkhead in Manchester, that went out on Wednesday for Patreon. So
tell you what,
produced this week
will be called the Professional Hour soon. You watch it.
But you know what you haven't done?
What have I not done?
I just realised with the name you just mentioned, the Strava leaderboard.
Yeah, I skipped it on purpose because I feel like we say the same names every week, and until I see something impressive on there, I'm gonna leave it for a few weeks.
Stop moaning my running, and I'll be back on it.
Yeah, when you get back top, Josh, we'll mention it again. No, but we will mention it when we have more time. But anyway, that's a wrap, boys. Let's see what we're doing next week. Matt, you're on your way home. Anything other than buying a car? Anything else planned for next week?
A bit more running session. That's me.
You're going to talk to listeners about your car choice?
Not yet, no, because they'll judge me. So I'll wait until I get one, then we can discuss.
We could do some feedback on whether they think a hybrid car is worth it, though, couldn't we?
Yeah, I think that's great feedback, actually.
Yeah. Anybody's got hybrid out there, let us know. Josh, other than smashing it with Jake Smith, what's your plans for next week?
Jake's not here for a few days, actually, so I'll be running away for a few days. Hopefully, maybe get a taster session in.
I did one of them yesterday, mate.
Like an introductory session. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe Tuesday. I think Matt and I sort of just mentioned before this, maybe like a light tempo, and maybe some intervals on Friday. Other than that, I've got to go to the office, which is what really not keen about not working from home. I don't know about you two. I hate it.
Well, I mean, the only positive out of my COVID experience is it gives me an excuse not to go into the office because, I've got COVID, so don't want to pass it on.
One other thing I'm doing next week, I'm actually going to see Stormzy. What about that?
Where's that?
In London on Sunday evening, actually. So might record Monday next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. We can't be getting called unprofessional for you walking around London again. I think we've mentioned that enough this week. My week is fairly busy. So because I'm still having to be at home, Jenny's working Tuesday, Thursday, but that means I've got Eliza, and her mum can't come around and look after Eliza because I've got COVID. So sort of a catch-22, isn't it? Like, I need to work, but I've got to also look after a child. So that's gonna be fun. But I've got a fairly important meeting Thursday, so I need to sort that out. Recording episode 2 on Wednesday with the Manchester boys, Will Bryan and Kieran Walker. I'll put that out at the end of this show, probably after the interview. Give those boys some exposure because, I think we can make it better. We did a fairly quick show last week. I was feeling terrible, so apologies to the boys that I couldn't help them organise that one a bit better, but we'll make that even stronger this week. And I'm also interviewing Rob Hawkins this week, getting some training insight into what Jess and Callum and Derek have been up to. So yeah, fairly busy week. Bowling Friday night. Not looking forward to that because I'm terrible. But yeah, getting some more content produced this week and hopefully giving the patrons some value for their money. And yeah, interview coming right up after this. Jess talks all about her 2:22 run in Seville, her Olympic experience, injuries and illnesses in the past, and what she's looking forward to in the World Champs this summer. So good interview with Jess. Well worth a listen. You two boys can give it a listen on a run this week and see what you think. That's it, boys.
Good.
I'll speak to you two in the week. Cheers.
See ya.